Namaste. Welcome back, everyone. This is the card of the year, tarot card of the year reading for the devil. And I'm going to read to you the poem from Margaret Peterson. Confusion in the passion of the flame. Let me hold the card up for you. Let's go this way. Okay. Confusion in the passion of the flame. No, I'm reading that wrong. Confusion in the passionate flame, fears and desires, always the same questions and no answers, regarding the shadows in the mirror, rewinding of memories and emotions, captivating fantasy. Only the voice of hunger and thirst can be heard. Thinking becomes impersonal, mechanical, predictable, beauty misused, separated from yourself. In the sharpened vision, at the point of brilliance, new perspectives open. In the last reading, we were talking about temperance, and in this deck it's called the Mediatrix. And there's this part of me that always feels that. Thank you, Donna. There's a part of me that, hi Audrey, that feels something significant hasn't been learned in the 14th Arcanum. Think about, I don't know if you listened to the last episode or not. The devil, energetically speaking, lives in the second chakra. And the second chakra is where we have two ovaries, two testes, separation. This is about relationship, where we're not one, we're two. And the reason that relationships become so very difficult is because we are separated from ourselves and we don't know ourselves. So the oxymoron, the what is the confounding thing here is that if we don't love ourselves, if we don't like ourselves, if we don't know ourselves, we're not going to know another. And so we go into a relationship because we think that's going to fix our happiness or whatever. And we go back and forth and back and forth. It's just such an interesting place to be. Margaret Peterson is fully aware of chakra medicine. And in the last episode, I shared with you, perhaps it was in 2 episodes ago, the relationship between the second and fifth chakras. And she says this: only the voice of hunger and thirst can be heard. Not the voice of spirit, not the voice of your soul. And in the devil card, there is a real basal kind of nature. We are very much attached to the senses. So we seek satisfaction and happiness through the senses. And until we learn that the sensorial experiences are not going to feed us, we swim deeper and deeper in the darkness in this card. And there's a lot of places I could talk about this card for the entire day. This is a really exciting card to dive into for a card of the year. And I invite you to do a chakra reading about your second chakra. Do some research on the second chakra. Get some really good literature and start to dive deep in here. The Chariot. So 2023 is a Chariot year, a 7 year. So there's a driver. There's a driver pushing you into this um, exploration of relationship. Okay, let's pull some cards. Before I do any more, I will say hi to everybody. Danielle's here. Lovely to have you, Danielle. Hello. Yes, exactly. So see if I can go back to that thought. Our attachment to sensorial experiences. So, whatever your comfort blanket is, becomes the go to. And I'm going to repeat this again. Only the voice of hunger and thirst can be heard, not the voice of your spirit. So that the goal here is to get back to spirit. And one of the solutions here, we've been talking about this the past couple of hours, is to experience joy, to feel, to love, to play, to dance, to be, to fully live life, to not be afraid of life. And so there's these deep connections of fear as well too. And a lot of these readings are very interconnected. The tarot tells stories. There's going to be common messages throughout 2023 among several of these cards. Um, yeah, it's just fascinating, fascinating work. So where do I want to go with the devil? Well, we have to start with the water, even though this is the Capricorn card. So this is the season where we are now. We're presently in Capricorn, towards the end of Capricorn 1, which is an earth sign. And I suppose if you think of Pamela Coleman Smith's artwork, the chains that bind, this restriction, this Saturnian influence, is there in the ether, and so it's part of the karmic process to learn to understand that it's only there. That's funny. It's only there because it's something we need to work with. And then I pull the Seven of Cups. Okay. And the Seven of Cups is the addiction card. The Seven of Cups is but it doesn't have to be. Joni Mitchell, Both Sides Now. I'm sure there's lots of songs, right? Where you're looking into liminal space. This is Alice, Going Through the Looking Glass. We can learn through the medicine of ayahuasca. We can learn through any kind of plant medicines. But the thing is, we don't have to. We don't have to. The imagination, the healing, the seeing of the wound and the understanding of the wound, this can happen through other practices as well too, that don't take us down the road to compulsions and addictions. Okay. Donna says the problem is too many people look for joy outside themselves in the wrong places. Yeah. And if you think about the like a chicken with its head cut off, you think about, I can't think of a metaphor, but like somebody who's looking around all over the place and they don't quite know where to look. They're so distracted. They're emotionally distracted. They've lost or they're not paying attention to the emotions. All right, let's pull a Cantogy Oracle. Okay, your Cantogy. And I don't even know what that word means. I need to look that up. Okay, so we have a repeat card, which is pollination. Kind of brilliant. And I'm going to go to the air card next. All right. So what are we pollinating in this reading? What are we pollinating? We're pollinating our dreams. We're pollinating our imagination. We're energizing and fueling our dreams and our heartfelt desires that we have suppressed for so long that we forgot that they actually were possibilities. Because somewhere along the way, somebody told you you weren't good enough. You were too loud. You were too short. You were too fat. You were too black. You were too something. And so you went off and avoided all of this. It's just such an interesting card. Okay. I'm going to go to the voice because this is a powerful, powerful connection. Okay, another repeating card, Mother of Feathers. All right, so discernment is really critical here. How can we learn discernment? Is it possible to learn discernment? Good question, Sadhana. It's almost as if sometimes we need to duct tape our mouths, you know? We need to and I feel that if you have an inspirational figure, maybe there's a quote from an inspirational figure that resonates with you deeply. And until you can find the words yourself, you use the words of another and you look to others. Now, discernment comes from an eagle's eye. It comes from the great birds who view the world from a very high place. And honestly, I think some of the best discernment comes from climbing to the top of the mountain and looking at the world from above. It's crazy how that practical advice can really help. You know, sometimes we need to climb the mountain. Oh, thank you for putting that in there, Tamian. Okay. All right, and your tulku to support Durga. All right, so we have the fearless mother. The fearless mother. The fearless mother who has about 1 billion tools at her hands. Actually, 10,000, according to Japanese mythology. She has 10,000 arms and 10,000 tools. Durga is my personal go-to goddess, deity to find strength. Durga has 1,000 names. And in order to navigate this experience, a tremendous amount of strength is required. So, what I'm picking up on here is that, and I'm feeling this in my gut. I don't know if this connects to anything I have said, but I feel as if a healing of the physical body is required here, a healing of the gut, because someone told you you were less than. So you need to rebuild your fire, rebuild your flame, rebuild your strength, rebuild your self esteem. And we can physically tap into that by through nutrition and health and awareness of food and cooking and looking after our physical bodies in this way. And I'm not sure why I'm picking up on that, but I had to vocalize that message. Om Durga, Durgati Shamani, Durga Padvini Varani, Durga Machedani, Durga Sadani, Durga Nashani, Durga Todharani, Durga Nihantri, Durga Mapaha, Durga Magyanada, Durga Daityaloka Davanala, Durga Ma, Durga Maloka. She has a lot of names. Ooh, I'm going to go to Donna's comment next. Okay. This is important. Well, all these cards are important, obviously. Where you come from matters. And where you are, we've had this card already today. Where you tread in this life, you are healing others in your family and in your family karma and so forth. But the message that I was picking up on is that, you don't have to do this alone. You can do this together with another. And isn't the work of the devil card the work of healing relationship? So instead of feeling like you are alone in this, invite a partner to experience this healing with you. Take a cooking class together. Enroll in some, or, I don't know, whatever floats your boat. Learn how to forage. Okay, Donna has the rebuilding of all, let's go here. The rebuilding of all that is, what lets us pick up the reins of the chariot. This is, so if you're familiar with the story of the Bhagavad Gita, so when Arjuna is paralyzed on the battlefield and the chariot, he asks the charioteer to stop, and in the middle of the battlefield, and he's looking in the distance, and he's asking himself, why? Why do I need to charge across the battlefield and kill my uncles and my cousins? I don't want to do this. It's probably not the best example. I mean, it's a great connection, a great parallel to the chariot. But what Donna said made me think of this. Hi, Saskia. I'm just going to read this again. The rebuilding of all that. The rebuilding of all that is what lets us pick up the reins of the chariot. So in rebuilding our wellness, in rebuilding our attitude towards relationship, in understanding that we are our partners, and that the healing of the relationship is the healing of ourselves, And through that, then we can go forward. And until we do that, it's very difficult to go forward. And I love, okay, seems to be a card of the day. Four of Flames is here. And I love that the invitation is to do it with another. Okay, that's pretty profound. You don't have to do this alone. All right, so why is the Four of Flames showing up again and again and again? I'm probably going to have to go back and sit and analyze these readings. But this is a container that manages the flame. And I was talking about earlier the fire being diminished, the self-esteem, the sense of power and who we are has been diminished. And so we take on various suppressants, various comfort blankets. And so in releasing the comfort blanket, we are forced to feed the fire. Right? So the blanket doesn't allow air in to feed the fire. So we see that Four of Flames, they're asking us to nourish the gut, to nourish the Manipura chakra. And for those of you that haven't seen the readings, I believe this is the fourth time this card has made an appearance today. All right, I'm going to pull your other oracles and then weave this all together. Okay. So this would be very similar energy to Four of Pentacles. Perhaps a container that we would benefit from releasing. It's like the Four of Flames and the Four of Earth sitting there side by side. No, there's something else going on here. One of the reasons, and this is a Marianne Williamson kind of concept, and that is one of the reasons we fall into suppression is that we are afraid of our greatness. And your greatness shone a long time ago. And something happened to diminish that. And you just need to remember your greatness. So scratch out treasure and put greatness. You with me? By rekindling the fire, you will know your greatness again. Our greatest fear is living and experiencing our greatness. Okay. And Durga. Om Durga. Om Shri Durga is the mother who will get you going and support you through this. Learn a Durga mantra. It will help. It will definitely help. And you have the Hunter of Vision. All right. So let me conclude by reading you the beautiful words of John Matthews. I am the Hunter of Vision. Whenever I walk, wherever I walk, wherever my arrow falls, I show the way toward a complete understanding of the world and the place of others within it. My sight is clear and far reaching, and I understand truth and reconcile others to it. Even when it is hard to accept, I seek the most profound values of life and the deepest awareness of spiritual truth. With me at your side, you will see more clearly and understand what further questions you need to ask. We have had this card as well earlier today, but what a beautiful synchron reflection in terms of the mother of feathers as well too. Your voice is critical here. The reflection, your release and reflection through the voice is very important. And you may find empowerment through a Durga mantra, through a quote of someone you hold in high esteem so that you can pick yourself back up, so that those old dreams can be pollinated and you can rediscover what your treasure is, what your gifts are, and no longer hide them away. Hmm. All right, lots of food for thought. Thank you. Thank you for sitting with me. And I will be back shortly with a reading for the Tower card. So just give me a few moments to reset. Take good care. Namaste.